Hello guys, so welcome to our new tutorial on C++ programming. In the last section we discussed about what are loops, how we can use loops, what is the difference between the loops, and also use of the manipulators. Now we're focusing on our key aspect of C++ programming, that is function overloading. As the name suggests, function overloading means overloading of a function. What that means? Overloading means the use of the same thing for different purpose. In the simple language, it means we can use the same thing for different purpose. In C++ programming, it happens with overloading of functions. This means we can use the same function. We can use the same function name to create functions that perform a variety of tasks. Means it will perform different tasks. The name, as the name suggests, suppose we'll take an example of Ronaldo. It will do different things. The same name but different things. So this is the concept of function overloading. Okay, we can use function overloading in order to sometimes differentiate our code from the others. Okay, so let's focus on our first program including function overloading. Here we just pass the value, pass the parameter, and we'll create a overloading of function by passing different parameters. So first thing first, let's include header files in our program, that is iostream, that is input output stream. Now include console input output.h. Now using name space namespace standard. See, I have discussed with you, I have told you in my previous tutorials what is the use of header files, what is hash, what is include, what is header files, why we are using namespace standard. So just go through with my video tutorial. I have created a separate video tutorial on this, especially on these header files. So next, let's declare some of the functions. Like suppose here declaration. Okay, we are declaring functions. So here we should use a function abc, simply abc. One function, two function, and third function. So here you can see these functions are same, but we'll make them different using the same name. We will overload this function. Right now these three are totally same function. Their functionality is same, everything is same. If we are calling this function, it means we are calling this function, that will be the same. Now let us make this function different. How it can be different? It means here we will pass different parameters to this so that that function becomes unique with the same name. Suppose I will pass a value integer here. Okay, here I will pass the value integer, comma integer. Okay, now I will pass the value integer, comma integer, comma integer. Okay, now suppose here let us take void. I told you in the separate tutorial what is the use of void. Okay, when our function is not returning with any integer value to the computer, then that is, in that scenario we are using void. And we can use void in the terms of generic pointers. We'll discuss it later in the later tutorials, but you should keep this in your mind that void is mostly used in the case of generic pointers. Okay, generic pointers. Now as you can see, these three functions are having the same name, abc, 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 but by passing different parameters the function becomes unique. So now this condition is known as function overloading. Now your function is overloaded, means the same function can be used for different purpose. Now all you need is to create a main program, that is int main. What the fuck is this? Int main. Okay, now say out the value of what do you want to print out. Suppose we want to call this value abc, Now pass the value 20 and 30. Okay, pass the value 20 and 30. That is the value, and enter. Okay, now see out, pass the value 40 and see out, ABC, value should be 10, 20 and 30. Enter. So here you can see we are using the same function name but passing different parameter. That makes it different from the other function. That is, it is different from this function. So in that scenario, in that condition, this function becomes overloaded, and this condition is known as function overloading. As our main program is having an integer type value, after the successful execution of the program, it must return with a value, integer value. So we are using return 0. But hang on, here we are calling this function, so what it will be returning? So we need to define this function now. So that is the beauty of the C++ language. You can declare the function and variable in one time, and you can redefine the variable and function whenever you want to. Okay, so there is no restriction that you need to define function at the time of declaration. You need to define and declare. You can define and declare separately whenever you want. So now let us just define the functions. Now void abc slash int. Let us define the function. What this function will does, it will return within value. Suppose that integer is a. Okay, that integer is a, so that it will print out the value a. Okay, value of a. You get my point, don't you? And that's it. This function, that is, this function is having parameter a, where will pass the value. Something value will be declared here, will be passed here, and it will just print out the value here. Now let us define this second function, that is void abc, here int integer value a, comma integer value b. Okay, you got my point, I think. See out, value of a, and then so we'll want to print in the next line, and del value of b. Okay, b. We should use endl after that. So here you can see our second function is doing this job. Now we'll define a third function, that is void abc int a, int b, and c. Okay, in simple term, just print out the statement c out, that is a, just print it out, and del c out b, and del c out c, C, and that's it. So here we can see, first of all, we included header files here. Now we just declare the functions, and these functions having the same name but different parameters. So this condition is known as function overloading. Now we defined our main function, because our program should contain at least main function, and in that we just call out the functions containing these values, and now we again redefine our function. Now what do you think will be the value printing? Control S. That is, first save your program, compile it. Oh my god, it comes with an error. Okay, let me see, what is this error? ABC and no match for operator, operating type, standard OS. So here you can see there are so many errors out here. Suppose error is that in main function no match for operator this, cannot print character value this, void this, void this. So many errors in our programs. So why this is happening? Why this is getting so many errors? So the basic reason is that in our main program, you can see we want this function to give out the values here. So we are using cout function to print whatever is there in the function. Okay, so the problem is that our function is of type void, which means it won't return with any value. It won't return with an it will return nothing. It will return nothing to this cout function. So in order to print out some statement, we need those functions that return integer value to the program. That means we need to change the data type of this function, because void means our function is returning zero value. It is returning nothing. So if we are calling it out here like ABC 2030, we are getting an error instead of getting some value. So we just change it here, integer and integer. Now our function is like that. Our function, this function will be returning an integer value, as you can see. Now redeclare it. You don't need to change anything, like integer return with the value 0. Again integer return with the value 0, and integer return with a value 0. Means it is returning with some values out here. Okay, our function is returning values. After the execution of the successful program, it will return with the value 0. So now if we gonna save this file again and compile it again, you won't be getting any error. As you can see, there is no error, there is no warning. Now just run it. So here our program, as you can see, compile it and run it. Okay, as you can see, what it does, first thing first, we call out our function, that is ABC. Again ABC with having parameter 2030, means 2 integer values. So where is this function? This function is this. So what this function does, it will print out 2 values, like value of A and B. So here you can see value of A and value of B, and after the successful execution it will return with a value 0. Okay, now talking about our second function, that is cout ABC with having parameter 40, that is means integer value. So where is this function? This function is here. So it means it is pointing to this function. And what is the definition of this function? Definition means it will print out the value of A, which means 40. So and return with a value 0. So A equals to 40, value equal to 0. Now we can see here we are calling our third function, that is ABC 10 20 30 in indel. Now where is this function? This function is here. And where is the definition of this function? What this function does, it will print out the value A, B and C. So here you can see A, B and C value will be 10 20 and 30, which we just passed, and after successful execution it returns with a value 0. So it returns with a value 0. Press and hit continue. So here you can see this is all about function overloading. I hope you understand what that means, and if you like this video, please like it, subscribe it, and please share this video. Okay, we'll see you in the next section. Thank you.